often get asked, does my editor need to know my book topic well to do a good job? The short answer is no. But let's look at that more closely. Ella, in your experience, how important is it that an editor knows the topic that the author is writing about?
It's important, but it's not essential. If your editor knows your topic too well, they can often miss some of the important details that your average reader might not understand. So you might actually find that you've skimmed over some industry jargon that might need to be edited back.
Well, and the editor can also act almost as the reader's voice in this and sort of say, oh, look, does this make sense from a reader's perspective?
So you need an outsider view, essentially.
You need someone who can take a fresh look at your copy and fill in some information gaps or clarify some perhaps issues or subject areas that are just that little bit too complicated for the reader.
If they have a general understanding of your industry, that's great, but they don't need to be an expert. A very common thing a new author is wondering about is, when do I start looking for an editor? Ella, when would they?
A great time to find your editor is when you've got your first manuscript ready to go, when you can actually let go of it.
I think probably it comes down to, when your spouse or partner or something, when someone has read through it and you're pretty much happy with it, then you can hand it over to us, because then we know what we're working with. Then we can give you an indication of whether you need a substantial edit or whether it's a relatively straightforward edit, whether you perhaps need to rework some of the sections or whatever the case may be. But essentially, when you're pretty happy with that first cut.
Exactly, and that's the time when we can look at your manuscript and let you know what type of edit you may require. We like to get to know our authors well before assigning an editor. I will personally explain our process to you and answer any questions you may have at the stage of having your draft manuscript not quite ready, but are starting to look for an editor. We do a review of your full draft manuscript first, then give you our suggestions for edit, and ensure you get a chance to get to know your editor and have a chat with them. And then we will give you a very detailed fixed fee proposal. So you will have an in-depth understanding about what an editor can help with and what timelines to expect.
When we edit your book, we take both a helicopter view, but we also go over your book with a fine-tooth comb.
Helicopters. So Daniela's going to spring for helicopter trips with every book.
He's hoping.
Looking forward to
chance, I'd say, but anyway, carry on.
Look, so helicopter really is all about the overview. Does the book hang together properly? Is the logic sound right throughout the book? And the fine-tooth comb really is the nitty-gritty, the line-by-line edit of the book.
So what are steps you go through?
We'll review your manuscript in depth and we'll take detailed notes about your manuscript, what areas need clearing up, what works, what doesn't. We'll then start looking at the structure of your document and removing any duplications, making sure that the structure is a logical one.
Industry jargon. And
we might need to tone down the jargon if it's relevant, as well as identifying any gaps in your book. Or
that's very important, having gaps in there where something's missing doesn't really hang together. Or, just maybe we just need a bridging chapter or round something off, like a summary at the end of the book.
We then work through each chapter almost line by line to just make sure that it flows and that the sentence structure is good and that we've tightly edited to a concise point. We put in the subheads and chapter summary highlight points at the end of each chapter. Essentially, we try to make sure that the overall book hangs together in that first edit, and that first edit is it's the big edit.
The meaty version.
Yeah, I agree.
We then produce a document that you can go through using track changes, and at that point you'll accept or reject, whatever the case may be, and look at our comments. We will have made comments on perhaps the structure or perhaps the tone or the manner or whatever the case may be.
We'll communicate with you step by step throughout that process.
And I think the real point with that first edit is this is the big one. This is where you really understand how that book is going to go for you, and you read through that, and you might make any alterations here or there, and we'll have a look through that and really just do a tidy up, a clean up. We'll respond to any questions that you might have. And that second shot, if you like, is going to be pretty much it.
That's an important point. We will make suggestions, and we will suggest to you the best way to edit your book, to get the best book out of it, but you will always remain in control. I'm sure a lot of people will want to know how long they need to allow for editing.
All right, well, with the average 30,000 word KPI book, I would allow about 3 to 4 weeks for that first edit. We'll then ask you to respond to us within, say, 7 to 10 working days and send it back to us, and we'll then run through with another final, very quick edit actually. It's really just responding to any queries that you might have and tidying up any points that might have been missed.
Next comes the proofreading stage, where another person will have a look at your manuscript fresh and pick up any spelling or grammar issues.
And depending on how long you take with that process, it's about 7 to 10 weeks.
And to get the book completed, you then need to allow a couple of weeks for layout and a couple of weeks for printing at least. And for all stages, your editing, design, typesetting and printing, you should always allow time buffers, because you might get the flu, land a big deal, or have a baby. All this might affect your book completion timeline. Well, I hope our chat has been helpful. And if you have any more questions at all, please just drop us a line to pick our brains and get some advice. It is completely free, and we are very happy to help. Thank you very much, Ella. Thank you very much, Paul. And
thanks, Daniela.
See you very soon.
See you
later.
later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Being a published author is a major step in your success So why should you use an auditor? Not an auditor, okay. An author. Giggle fit, sorry. Don't look at me. Look at someone else. Yeah. No, not yeah.
Yeah, but no, but
Yeah,
yeah.
really. We're rolling. Yes. No. Yes, it is in... Yes, it is... Yes, it is in... Yes, it is... Oh! Are we done?